Okay, let's talk about some, whoa. What's up everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Today's video we are going to be doing my July favorites and favorites. I've not sat down and filmed a favorites video in such a long time. I obviously haven't sat down and filmed in such a long time. And I was trying to think of what video I wanted to do as kind of like my, hey, I'm back, let's all get jazzed. But I decided to do a favorites video. I really tried to narrow it down to the products I really have been testing out and trying and loving really over the past couple of months. If I were to try to do everything that I have been loving just like over the course of the year, this video would be like a million years long. And I feel like these have been like my go-to, my standout products that have really been going hard with me, especially this summer, that I haven't talked about before. Without me continuing to chat on forever, let's go ahead and get into the video. So the first thing I'm going to talk about, this is from the brand Pinrose, and this is their Rollerball Style Kit. I got this off of the Sephora website. I had tested out and tried some of the Pinrose fragrances before, and I fell in love with them. Pinrose is a really cool fragrance company. They're very unique in their scents and their process. They're based off of out of San Francisco. I love the way all of these smell. They just every single one smells unique. They don't smell like anything else, and what I love about them is how good they all smell. Like they all pair together very well. So what's cool about the kit is the fact that you get to try all of their fragrances. It includes two of their newer ones, which is Little Dipper and then Sun Saint are their two new scents. They have other fragrances on their website as well. If you're a fragrance junkie like I am, though, this is a great little set to like really test and try out different fragrances without committing to a full-size bottle. I'm someone that I don't really have a signature scent. Like I change out the scent that I wear constantly, especially throughout the day. So this is perfect for that, and it's really good for traveling as well. So I've been really enjoying those fragrances. Next, I'm going to talk about a sunscreen, and sunscreen is never something that I was like, ooh, yes, like sunscreen. I love sunscreen. Let's talk about sunscreen. Like it's not, sunscreen isn't something that you really get jazzed at or excited about. But I got to try, this is the Supergoop Superpower Sunscreen Mousse, and oh my gosh, this totally blew my mind about sunscreen and how I felt about sunscreen. This knocks every other sunscreen out of the water, hands down. Best sunscreen ever. The cool part is because it is a mousse consistency, when it goes on, I'm just going to do a little bit. When it goes on, you just rub it into the skin. It has this like instantly cooling effect on the skin because of the mousse formula. Is sunscreen. It smells like sunscreen, but it doesn't feel like sunscreen. Like my hand doesn't feel sticky. You don't see any white residue, like it's completely dried already, and that's what I love about this product. I've used this so much. I've got my sister hooked on this. I got my boyfriend hooked on this. My boyfriend and I will go hiking and do outdoorsy things, going on vacation, things like that. This has been my go-to for all of that because I have never gotten sunburned while wearing this, and I never get that sticky feeling, especially in Texas. There is so much humidity here that any sunscreen you put on, like you start to sweat it off and you just feel and see like these white streaks coming down. Never had this problem with this sunscreen. So I definitely recommend this if you're someone who, we need to wear sunscreen. You know you're supposed to wear sunscreen every day, but you hate the way that sunscreen feels. I would definitely recommend this. It's a great option. Let's talk about some hair products. So the first one, it's really speaking towards a brand, but I'm just going to be talking about like one product that's really stood out to me, and this is from the brand IGK, and this is their Beach Club Texture Spray. Hands down, as a brand, I have completely fallen in love with the IGK products. I think that their design and their packaging is great. I think the products are great. They're really good for your hair. It's a nice line because they don't use parabens, they don't use sulfates, they're vegan, they're gluten-free. They use all of this like good for you ingredients for your hair, so that way it's not damaging it. I use their conditioner, I use their mask, I use their priming spray. I mean, I have so many different products from them that I use, but the product that has really stood out to me as like by far like my favorite is the Beach Club Texture Spray. I'm a texture spray junkie. I have so many different hairsprays in my cabinet and in my room. I've tried just about every texture spray on the market, from drugstore to expensive. Like, I'm willing to try everything because I have very thick hair and it stays very full and it holds style, but it never has like the actual texture part where it looks messy and beachy. Like it either frizzes up or it just feels really heavy and thick. And what I love about this one is that they don't use sea salt. Most texture or sea sprays will use sea salt, and that's what gives your hair that grit. This uses glycerin, which does the same thing but is much more beneficial for your hair and isn't going to dry it out. It also smells really good. IGK products, they smell bomb. And then the next hair product I have is actually a hair brush, which I never really thought, kind of like sunscreen, I never really am like, oh yeah, hair brushes, they're so amazing. Like hair brushes are kind of the things like I just pick up whatever's the cheapest. So I got this off of the Sephora website. This is the Verb. I believe this is just called their detangling brush. I'll leave links for everything, but for this also down below. I just love how easily and quickly it gets through my hair because again, my hair is very thick. Right now it's short, it's cut to about here, but it still is so incredibly thick. It's always really thick, and I've always had the hardest time with brushes and with combs trying to get through my hair because it is more on the wavy curly side and I get tangles so easily. Like I just think about a tangle and it happens in my hair. Like if I go a day without brushing it, then that's it. Like I got a knot in my hair for a week. Like it's too thick to not brush it. So you can use this through your hair, wet or dry, and I've noticed such a big difference in how less frizzy my hair is, how less heavy my hair feels, and then just the fact that it's smooth and tangle free for the rest of the day and the night. So I do really, really love this. I use this after I shower, after I wash my hair, I run this through, and then every morning when I wake up, I brush my hair with this, and it is fantastic. So I recommend checking it out. It's $14 on the Sephora website. All Verb products are $14. I haven't tried any of their other tools, but this brush is bomb. Speaking of brushes, let's talk about a makeup brush really quick. So this is from the brand Pure, and I do not know what this brush is called other than foundation brush. I'll leave the specific link because I got it off the Ulta website. I'll leave that down below as well because this brush is amazing. I know everyone's crazy about the Artiste brushes or the oval brushes, like this type of shape. If you are someone who likes medium to full coverage foundation, this will make your foundation apply like a dream. It just makes everything on my face look so smooth, so buffed out, so flawless, and it's really like I've been using the same face products, it's just I changed the brush. And I have two complexion products. So the first one is a new product that just launched at the beginning of this month. This is the Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Ultra Long Wear Foundation. I got sent this through Influencer, which I've mentioned on my channel before. Influencer is a review site that they will send you free product in exchange for you reviewing and testing and trying out the product. So I've been testing this out over the past month, and this is hands down like favorite foundation from the high end that I've ever possibly tried. I absolutely love this. It's a medium to full coverage, 15-hour wear. The idea behind it is that you get all the wear time and all the coverage you want, but it doesn't look or feel heavy and cakey like most typical full coverage foundations does. And I think part of the biggest reason is the fact that it's a medium to full coverage, but it builds up to full coverage so easily. I got the shade 2W2, which is butterscotch. The hard part and the one thing that I'm not crazy about this, now that I've also gotten to play with it in our store, is the shade range. It kind of jumps from shade to shade and it pulls darker than you would think. Like what the actual like fairest shade is really like the third like in line shade, and then like this is like maybe the fifth shade, and you would think it would be like, oh, this would be like a perfect like medium tone if you're looking at the website, but then you get it in person and it runs real dark. So I've been using this mixed with another foundation when I have a self tan, but I can't ever use this just on its own. Like I do have to mix it with something. Even if I have like a fresh tan, like my tans are never dark enough to justify this color, especially with how yellow in the tone this is. So I do always have to mix it with something. But if you can get your right shade in this, and if you can actually go in store and test and swatch them and try them out, I highly recommend this because it just looks and wears so beautifully. It is also, I forgot to mention, a matte finish. So this is, in my opinion, better for people with more oily skin. Next product is a powder, and I actually have not heard like anybody talking about this at all other than Kathleen Lights. And this is the Kat Von D Lock-It Blotting Powder. First off, let's talk about the packaging. Like when she announced she was coming out with this and I saw the packaging, like the packaging alone, I was like, I need that in my life. Like even if the powder's not good, I'm still getting it for the compact it comes in alone. It's so freaking pretty. But this is actually a fantastic blotting powder. And I've never been one to be really into blotting powders because they have the tendency of just making your makeup look heavy. Like they'll pick up your oil, but they're also depositing makeup onto the face, so it tends to look really cakey. And I find it doesn't really pick up my oil as efficiently as I would like, so I normally just stick to blotting sheets or just a translucent powder. However, that all changed when this came out. So it comes in 4 different shades. I use the shade Light when I am self-tan. When I am more winter shade, I do use the shade Fair. I will say with these types of powders, and with Kat Von D's powders in general, they run darker than you would think. So I usually say whatever shade you think you would be, try the shade lighter, because I had initially tried the medium shade thinking that would work with my self-tan, and it just left really bad orange patches all over my face. So I switched to light. I've never had any problem, and it's not so heavy that it looks like color, but if it is too dark, you are gonna see this. So this is a super microfine powder. Like when I blend it in, it leaves like no powder kickback. It feels so creamy and buttery, but just so lightweight. So it comes with a little pad, and this is what I actually use to apply it. Just throughout the day, if I start to notice I'm getting a little oily or shiny, or some of my makeup is starting to separate, I just take this, press that in those areas. It instantly lifts off the oil, but it presses and refreshes my makeup down, so it looks like my makeup is completely fresh, like it is when I put it on in the morning. I have 2 eyeshadow palettes to quickly talk about. Quickly meaning they kind of speak for themselves why they were a favorite. Like I feel like they're everybody's favorites, or at least they should be. The first one is the, of course, Jaclyn Hill and Morphe palette collab. Who could not love this palette? Like honestly, it is phenomenal. Like just look at these colors. Like I die for them. Like they are so pretty. It's what I have on my eyes today. It's what I've had on my eyes for the past like month and a half since I've gotten it. It's funny because I did order it when it first launched. I've already purchased, I bought a backup during the second launch, but I am so totally in love with this palette. The only colors I really haven't played with are like these like ones right here. I haven't really used those, but I have used all of the other ones, especially the browns in this palette. I've used them to death. It is such a great palette. I'm like so kudos to Jaclyn. She really thought this through. This palette still feels and looks like her, but I love the fact that she incorporated so much more beyond what I would have thought her palette would have looked like. And this has become like the essential everyday, like you can have it all palette. My only issue with it, 2 things actually are my only issues. First off, I don't like the fact that there aren't the shade names anywhere on the actual palette. They send you with the palette a little card that says all the shade names, and that's cute and all, but she went through all of this trouble to make sure that each of the shades had names, and she did a video dedicated to why she named each shade the name that it has. But nowhere on the actual palette do you see that. So I feel like they should have put it on the back, like made this, it just says Morphe times Jaclyn Hill, made this smaller and put it more on the bottom and had the shade names. I understand not putting it in this actual thing because you have so many shadows and it's so big for space-wise, but I do wish they had the shadow name somewhere else. And then I do wish this had a mirror. Like I think this little, you know, thing that she has to her subscribers is cute. I think that's amazing. I wish she had done what Carly Bible had done, and that is Carly Bible, when she came out with her palette, it still has a mirror, just the quote she has is a little bit smaller underneath. But as far as a consumer and as someone who would love to travel with this palette, if I'm going to take this palette, I'm going to have to bring a separate mirror with it because this doesn't come with a mirror itself. And the idea that I would just bring this palette alone and nothing else, like I would either have to bring another palette that has a mirror or just bring another mirror in general. So probably more so than the colors. I think I could get over the issue of the names not being on the palette. There are ways to work around that, but the fact that it doesn't have a mirror, that's probably like my biggest, just like, I would give this like a 10, but it's a 9, 8, 9 because of the fact that it doesn't have a mirror. Other than that, like the actual palette, like this bottom part, all of these shadows are amazing. They're bomb. I wouldn't change anything about them. Just wish it had a mirror. Okay, and then the second palette I'm going to talk about is from Urban Decay, and this is their new Naked Heat palette. This is by far the best naked palette Urban Decay has ever come out with. Like, don't at me on it. Don't try to fight me on this one. I have tested and tried out all of the naked palettes. I don't use them. I don't like them. If people come in store and ask for me to use it because that's the palette they have at home, I will, but I never go out and grab that palette. First thing that impressed me, well, first things first, the fact that this is like a warm toned lover's dream. Like, this has every like tone of red you could possibly want in a palette. It's so absolutely gorgeous, the color range that they chose. But the thing that really impressed me is that there are more mattes in this palette than there are shimmers. And that's what I think all the other naked palettes have been missing. It's always been more shimmer than matte. So you get a couple mattes to deepen up the look. You get like one light matte shade and then one shade for the crease, and then everything else is shimmer. So you can't really complete a balanced out eye look without using a ton of shimmer. But this has so many matte shades, like all of these right here, perfect for the crease. You have your deeper shades down here. You have your mid-tone shades that you can change the look up with. The shimmers apply flawlessly. The mattes apply flawlessly. It is pigmented. It is blendable. It is buttery. There is not a lot of fallout or kickback, which I think is amazing. Like, kudos to Urban Decay, because whatever they changed, I mean, they're claiming they haven't changed anything, but I'm like, I'm not a liar. Something's different about this, and I think this palette is amazing. So if I have not been using the Jaclyn Hill palette, I have been using this one. Okay, a couple more makeup products, and then we'll get into some skincare. So I have two cheek products. The first one is from Anastasia. This is their blush trio in Peachy Love, and it is the blush I have on today. I use the shade Nectarine as my blush. I am so totally in love with these blushes. These blushes have totally, like, they have not gotten any love from, like, with Anastasia, and I'm like, why? Because these blushes are probably the most fantastic blushes I have tried. I literally do not use any other blush other than these three right here. They are so pigmented. They are so buttery. They go on the skin so completely smooth and just look beautiful. I have them all swatched right there. I just absolutely love the ways these look on the face. Like, it is just gives enough pigmentation without it being overpowering. Like, it's just like the perfect balance between the two. It doesn't feel dry. It doesn't feel chalky. It goes on and blends out into the skin so smooth without any skipping or patchiness. These are phenomenal. She has so many different shades as well. I love the fact that they are in a trio. So one, you get the three options. They don't fade easily. I highly recommend checking these out because these are bomb, and they're seriously getting overlooked right now. These are amazing. The last face product is a highlight from Maybelline, and this is their Master Chrome in the shade 100 Molten Gold. It is the highlight I have on my face right now. I'm just totally obsessed with the formula of this. Now, as far as the color, I can wear this because I have a self-tan. I know as soon as I quit tanning that I will no longer be able to wear this because it's just too gold and it's going to look too dark. If you're on the medium tan to deeper skin tone, you will love this year-round. It is a phenomenal blush. If you are light to fair, though, probably want to skip on this color because it's just a little bit too deep. But I'm so totally obsessed with the formula of this. It goes on like butter. It is so smooth. It is so metallic and wet looking. Like, it never looks like overly powdery. It never sits on top of the skin weird. It blends out so beautifully. This is not a highlight that I would say is for like that natural person. Like, as you can see, it is like a disco ball on my cheekbone, which is the type of look that I like. I have it on the center of my face. I have it in my inner corner. I'll use this highlight all over me and my body if I can. I absolutely love this. It's the only highlight I've been wearing probably for the past month now. I really do hope Maybelline comes out with more shades in this formula because this formula is amazing. Okay, so last makeup product, and then we're going to jump into some skincare real quick, is the lip color I am wearing right now. I really want to talk about the formula more than the color. This is from the I Love Sarahi and ColourPop collab, and this is one of their Ultra Satin lips. Now, I haven't tried any of the other Ultra Satin lip colors. I haven't tried any of the Ultra Satin lips, period. I am obsessed with the way this formula feels. It looks like a matte lipstick. Like looking at it, like it looks like a matte liquid lipstick. This formula, even though it's not a matte liquid lipstick, it gives me that look without the feel of a matte liquid lipstick. So it lets my lips have a little bit of a break, kind of rehydrate. It still has the look I want. This does transfer, like if I kiss the back of my hand, you still see it right there. It still transfers. It comes off when I eat foods. Like my issue isn't how long it wears because I know it's not going to wear long. It's not advertised at that. It's just the fact that it looks matte without feeling like matte. Like I really, really love that. So I do want to try more of these shades. If there are any shades that you're like, oh my gosh, this is a must have, let me know in the comments below. I'll probably put it on order soon to try some more. Okay, so wrapping it up, we have a couple skincare items. First thing I'm going to talk about is a cleanser. This is the Kate Somerville Eradicate Daily Foaming Cleanser. If you are someone who gets acne, whether you are oily, whether you are dry, normal, combo, it does not matter. If you're acne prone, get this cleanser. It will totally change your skin. I had in the middle part of June, right before I was going on vacation for my birthday, I got this really bad breakout where I had these tiny white bumps all right here, all through here, and then all along my jaw. And I am someone who normally, I've always been acne prone, like even whether it be my period, not my period, diet, exercise, like it does not matter what I do, I'm just acne prone. I have at least one breakout going on all of the time. These were all like textured bumps sitting on top of my skin, and I tried so many different like treatments to try to get rid of it quick. I decided to give this cleanser a try because I do use the Kate Somerville treatment. If you are familiar with that, that uses a 10%, it's the glass bottle with the pink at the bottom, and it uses 10% sulfur, and that's what's helping to treat the acne. So it's helping to draw it out, helping to minimize it, and help to basically, you know, by the name, eradicate it off of your face. So I decided to give the cleanser a try because it is a 3% sulfur blend, so that way you can use it day and night, and it'd be a lot more gentle, but it'd still give those same results. Within about 2 weeks, all of that acne, all of that texture was completely gone, and I have not had a problem with it coming back since. All right, so next I have a facial scrub from Ulla Henriksen, and this is the Pore Balance Facial Sauna Scrub. So this is from his Green Balance line, which I've talked about on my channel before. I absolutely love it. It is an amazing skincare line, especially if you are oily. I'm someone who I haven't used exfoliating scrubs in a while. Normally I will use pads or wipes or things like that that will still give you the result of exfoliation, but it's not quite so abrasive on the face. When I first used this, I was like, oh my gosh, this is way too harsh, too abrasive. Like, I don't like it. I don't want to use it anymore. The more I used it though, the more I liked it. So it uses volcanic sand in it. So it has this very gritty texture, which is at first why I didn't like it, because I was like, oh my gosh, is this really harsh? I think the reason was because I hadn't done exfoliating scrubs. I'd only been using wipes and pads for so long that I just, like, it felt more abrasive than it really was. But the cool part about it is when you apply it and start rubbing it onto the skin, it starts to warm up. So it's helping to pull and to purify and cleanse out the pores, but also helping to break and exfoliate off the dead skin. So I use this about twice a week, 2 to 3 times a week. I really like doing this before I mask. It feels so smooth after using this. I don't have a problem with texture. It is a really, really good one. So I definitely recommend checking it out, especially if you are on the oily side. You will really like this. It is great. And then my final skincare product is a mask, and this is from Tata Harper, and this is her clarifying mask. I had never really used Tata Harper products before. They're a little bit on the pricier side, but Tata Harper products are designed to be completely and totally clean. Like, she doesn't use any toxic ingredients. She does very good for you stuff that gives you very powerful, very good results that last a long time. So a couple things. This is for blemish prone skin. It is supposed to help detoxify and purify the pores and help to minimize the appearance of oil. It is not a clay and it is not a mud mask though, which is what I think throws people off. This isn't a mask that ever dries down. It uses a superfruit AHA blend, so that is what's helping to pull and purify everything out and helping to get rid of, you know, impurities, things like that, but it never actually dries down. It has these little quartz sand crystals in there, so you put the mask on, leave it on for about 20 minutes, and because it doesn't dry down, you do have to kind of watch the time. When you put on water, it activates the quartz sands crystal. So then you rub it into your skin and it's like very fine, like micro exfoliants, and your skin just feels so smooth afterwards. I'm so in love with the results this has been giving my skin. That completes this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you have been loving over the past couple of months, if there are any new or exciting products that you are excited to try or have tried or recommend me testing out. I'm really excited. I know this is totally premature, but I'm very excited for my August favorites because there are some new products coming out that I feel like are about to be real lit, and I feel like August favorites is going to be a good video, which I know that's like way premature to say, but anyways, I will talk to you guys in my next one. Bye.